What's up, guys? Welcome to your 170th Android tutorial for the new Boston. And I know I told you guys we'd render something in the last tutorial. I kind of forgot about it, so just we're gonna get into that in this tutorial. So again, just to show you guys a little bit more about these methods and how we can use them, we're gonna render a few different times just to get a better understanding of what's going on and some of the methods that we can use. Again, all of these methods have this GL10 object that's being passed in. All of them are, sorry about that, all of them are pretty much the same, and we can relate to them. And again, like I said, we can set some specifics to them, what we want to handle, like if we want to have depth within our GL view and all that stuff. So let's just get into it. What we're going to do first within our onCreate method is type out our GL object that's being passed in. We're just going to say .gl clear color. And this is basically saying, hey, when you call the clear command, or actually this is basically just like setting the color value for the most part. But what this clear is all about, you're probably like, what? Why is it calling it to clear a color? Well, basically all it's saying is when you call the clear command, send in this message, tell them what's up. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint our background or our GL object that's being passed in. And how we do that is with 4 floats, a red value, green value, blue value, and an alpha value. So what we're going to do is we're just going to say anywhere from 0 to 1. And let's give it a lot of red, let's say like 0.8. And we're just going to say F for float. And for green, we don't want any green in there. Man, green just isn't going to happen. And blue, what would that make? Like purple? Oh, we don't want any. Well, let's give it a little bit of blue, like 0.2 blue. So again, we can go from 0 to 1. And for alpha, we don't want it to be transparent, but so we're just going to set to 1. Again, you guys can, if you want transparency a little bit, you can set that to 0. If you want a lot of transparency, set that to 0. And let's just call the clear method that I was talking about, so we actually get to use this color thing. And we're going to do that within our onSurfaceCreate just for example. And we're just going to relate again to our GL10 object, and all we're going to do is say GL clear, and it takes a mask. And what this mask is there's different buffers. Like there's a buffer to handle the color, there's a buffer to handle the depth, and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to relate to our GL10 class. Whoops. GL10. We're just going to say .gl underscore color buffer bit. And that's going to handle basically our color buffer and all that good stuff. So let's run it and see what happens. And just you guys are going to have to watch real closely, so just make sure you take note. We're going to run this, and as you can see, it flashed that red and then it disappeared. So you're like, okay, what was the point of that? Well, basically what's happening is we call that within our onCreate method. So that's only going to be called once, right when our activity starts, and then we have this draw frame thing. So if we move this clear command down into our draw frame and run it again, it should stay, because every time it calls this, it's going to be like, hey, I'm clearing the color buffer, what color should I, tell me what to do, and then that's what we set up within our onCreate method. So again, let's run it, and as you can see, it's just a solid red color. Pretty good, pretty awesome. That's what we want. And we can also add like depth. So what we're going to do is within again our onCreate method, we're just going to say GL, relating again to that GL10 object, and we're going to say .gl clear again, and this time we're going to say depth of a float. And by default it's going to be 1. That's what we're going to set it to, is 1. And again, now when we call our clear command, it's going to be like, hey, set the depth to this. So again, right here on our onDraw method, we're calling the clear command, but we have no reference to any sort of depth buffer. Again, there's different types of buffers, so we need to add that within this clear command. And how we do that is, again, I don't know what that symbol is. It's just basically a straight line, and you just hit shift, and it's the button above your enter key or your return key. So just throw one of those in there, and then again we're going to relate to our GL10 class dot GL underscore depth bit or depth buffer bit. And so now it's going to be like, okay, now I know what buffer to, clear with this command here. And that's what it's always going to be the same. So for the most part, whatever. We're going to just set our depth every time it calls the on draw frame method and all that good stuff. So if, for example, you guys wanted to make a random color, you could do that for homework or something, but you wouldn't want to do that within the onCreate method because it's not going to be a random color. So you have to move this down within our onDraw method, create some sort of a random color, like 0 through 1 or something like that, and set that up, and then your buffer or your activity will just flash different colors. So if you guys want some homework, just mess around with that. But as for now, we aren't going to go too fast because I've talked to a lot of people and they have trouble with OpenGL, but just some basic concepts here. We set the color and we set the depth, and we have to call the clear command and refer to the buffers that we want to handle those. So pretty simple tutorial, but that's pretty much an introduction to the renderer. We're going to get into a lot more stuff with this renderer, so don't worry about that, and I'll catch you guys in the next tutorial. Have a good one.